Europe, 1347. The Black Death arrives through Mediterranean trade routes and spreads across Europe, North Africa, and parts of Asia. An estimated 30 to 50% of Europe's population dies. Entire towns vanish. Economies collapse. And somehow, food gets better. I'm sorry, what?
Yes, my theory is that the Black Death accidentally created better cuisine by disturbing medieval society so hard that people started eating more creatively. I already hate where this is going.
This happened during the late Middle Ages, in parentheses 13,000s, mainly in Europe, especially England, France, and Italian trade cities. At the time, kings and nobles held most political power. The Catholic Church was extremely influential. Society operated under feudalism. Most peasants worked land owned by nobles, had few rights, ate repetitive diets of bread, grain, and porridge.
My breakfast is bread, my lunch is bread, and my dinner is wet bread.
Then, the plague destroyed population levels, causing labor shortages, economic instability, social change, and weakening feudal systems. This connects most strongly to the AP world theme. In the social would be class structures weakened. In the political, feudal control weakened. Interaction with environment, farmland use changed. Cultural, food habits and trade evolved. Economic, wages rose after labor shortages.
In other words, Europe got absolutely wrecked. And somehow that led to seasoning?
Evidence 1. The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, late 13,000s. Chaucer describes characters eating better food and showing increased social mobility after the plague years. What the source actually says is different social classes are mixing more than before, and some non-nobles appear wealthier and better fed.
Translation: the peasants unlocked premium food content.
This is not what Chaucer meant, how we're stretching it. If lower classes had more money and mobility, they may have had greater access to diverse foods. Why it's technically possible. After the plague, labor shortages increased wages in some religions, giving surviving workers more purchasing power.
Evidence 2. The Decameron. Evidence 2. The Decameron by Giovanni Boccaccio, in parentheses 1353. Boccaccio describes wealthy young people escaping plague-ridden Florence and enjoying elaborate meals while isolated in villas. What the source actually says is elite groups continued dining luxuriously even during the plague.
Even during societal collapse, the rich still said, needs more garlic. How we're stretching it. The survival of luxury dining during catastrophe suggests food culture remained important and possibly expanded afterward. Why it's technically possible. Italian trade cities later became centers of culinary development and spice distribution.
Evidence 3. Historian Christopher Dyer's research on post-plague England. Dyer argues that surviving peasants often experienced improved living standards after the Black Death. What the source actually says, workers gained bargaining power due to labor shortages.
You mean I can afford cheese? Better wages, better diets, more experimentation with food? Why it's possible? Historical records show increased meat and dairy consumption among some peasants after population declines.
Can the camera see me? Is it blurry at all? No. Evidence number 4. Research on agricultural shifts after the plague. Historians note that farmland shifted from grain production to livestock raising because livestock required fewer workers. What the source actually says is Europe adapted agriculture to labor shortages.
The cows accidentally saved cuisine. It's in there. Okay. It's on the stool. Please stop saying that sentence. How we're stretching it. More livestock meant more access to meat, butter, milk, and cheese. Why is this technically possible?
Diet diversification.
Diet diversification did increase some regions after the plague. Alright, enough nonsense. Here's why professional historians do not take this argument seriously. Number 1, historians reject it because the plague wasn't about cuisine. The Black Death caused mass death, economic collapse, trauma, labor crisis. Historians studied demographics, religion, economics, political change. Not, this really improved your lunch.
Good, because that would sound insane.
Number 2, cuisine improved after the plague. That does not mean the plague caused better cuisine. Other major factors mattered more. Trade expansion, the growth of cities, long-term agricultural development, cultural exchange through trade routes. But the timing is not enough. Most people did not immediately get benefits. Right after the plague, trade networks collapsed. Food shortages happened. Entire villages disappeared. At one point, I ate soup that was basically hot leaf water. Exactly. The short-term effects were mostly terrible. And plus, the evidence is missing. To truly prove this theory, historians would need direct records saying people intentionally changed cuisine because of the plague. Widespread proof that all social classes gained better diets. Evidence that food innovation specifically came from the plague's conditions. That evidence does not exist. What would need to be true for this conspiracy to actually work, for this theory to fully work? The plague would need to directly inspire culinary innovation. Most survivors would need improved diets quickly. Food culture changes would need stronger connections to the plague than to trainer economics. that's simply not supported by historical evidence.
Okay, you guys ready?
You kind of got me hooked because you were like, they don't tarnish and they last a long time.
Well, mine, like, I've had it for over a year, and it started.
Yeah, and that's what I like because I have sensitive skin. And then you're like, yes,
I understand.
so it's like good metal.
Just want to let you know it is recording.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me geek. Oh,
No. So, did the Black Death accidentally improve cuisine?
Professor,
You have the wrong wig on! Technically, maybe a little. No!
But the cheese situation did improve.
And seasonings became a thing.
I hate that this almost makes sense. Final rating: ridiculousness 10 out of 10, defensibility 6 out of 10, historian approval 0 out of 10. Would medieval peasants care? Only if bread stopped tasting sad.
Final verdict. The theory sounds ridiculous because it takes one of history's worst disasters and tries to connect it to culinary improvement. And yet, because the plague changed labor systems, wealth distribution, agriculture, and trade, it accidentally created conditions where diets and food variety improved for some survivors. So, while the argument completely falls apart under serious historical scrutiny, it's just believable enough to make everyone uncomfortable.